Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Buddy Sola. I am the marketing lead for... Nope, I'm not the marketing lead anymore. I'm actually the head of marketing. I got a title change. I am the head of marketing for Akupara Games, and we are publishing Astrea Six-Sided Oracles, which is the game that you can see right here on screen. I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain a bunch of the things that make Astrea a unique entry into the roguelike deck builder genre. Not the least of which is that we're going to be using dice instead of cards. So let's get into, I guess I would say, our sample run. Every run of Astrea, players are going to be able to choose between one of three different star blessings. The star blessings here. I am actually going to just, pick the one that I think is strongest. This one says, every turn, the first die you play is returned to your draw pool instead of discarded, which means that you're going to be able to kind of use your most powerful die over and over again because they go back into your draw pool. And that's what we're gonna start with. I'm gonna choose a couple of, interesting. We're gonna choose a few dice here. Now, all of the dice in Astrea are always, you can see down here, safe, balanced, or risky. Essentially, you can see from the glow around the outside of the die face whether or not we expect this to be good or bad for your character, right? A balanced die is going to kind of have half and half, right? 3 good sides, 3 bad sides. A risky die is going to have more bad sides, but with a balanced out by having stronger good sides. This is going to allow me to draw 2 balanced die, for instance, really allowing me to tutor that stuff out of my deck. But what I think I actually want to do, I like New Moon Ray here. New Moon Ray says, when I roll some of its best faces, I'm going to deal 1 purification to an enemy for each safe die I have in my dice pool. Safe die have no bad faces, which is really what I find useful about them. And in fact, I'm just going to take 2 because I think it's the best that I can. It's the best that I can do. It's going to power up that ray. I'm pretty happy about it. All right. Now we're going to head into our first battle, and I'm going to show a little bit about the core mechanics behind the game. Now, first thing you'll probably see is this is our enemy. He has his own dice, and I know exactly what he's going to use on his turn, right? He is going to deal 2 corruption to me, and he is going to corrupt himself for 2. Now, you might want to ask, okay, well, what is corruption? The blue version here is purification. Essentially, purification is a force for good for me, and a force of damage for my opponent. And corruption is going to be damage for me, but healing for my opponent. So let me just play out this turn pretty quickly. I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do that there. Okay. I'm going to end the turn. This is not the most optimal way to play the turn, but I just wanted to explain. So you can see that he actually healed himself for the 2 corruption that he dealt to himself, which is actually pretty useful, right? If I am this opponent, right, I want to be healing myself every turn, so he's going to do a small amount of corruption to me, then he's going to heal himself. The other thing you might notice is that this bar on the bottom is called the overcorruption meter. The overcorruption meter increases by 2. When the overcorruption meter fills, this action goes off, right? So when he gets filled, he's going to hit me for 3 corruption. Let's take a look at what that's going to look like in action. Okay, so you can see his dice is going to go off. He's going to hit me for 2. And then he's also going to deal 1 corruption to himself. And then he's going to hit me for another 3. Yeah, pretty brutal, right? Now, an interesting thing happened that I also want to call out, which is that I have activated some virtues. Now that I've actually taken damage, you can see that my health bar here on the bottom of the screen, right? My health bar has sort of activated. And when I reached these checkpoints, these new actions popped up. These new actions are called virtues. There's also an action that Mooney will always have access to, which is this virtue here. In this case, it's convert, right? Convert is going to allow me to take a die of corruption, turn it into a die of purification. And the interesting thing, you can watch if I do this. I'm going to heal myself for 3 with 3 purification. I'm going to use these 2 virtues. I'm going to attack the enemy for 4, and then I'm going to draw. Now, when I take this 3 corruption and I deal it to myself, I actually activate both of these virtues again, which is really interesting, right? Because it means that I have this ability to sort of use my most powerful abilities sort of over and over again. I am going to take a quick look. All right, minor enhance. All right. At any time, I can take a look at the different dies, the different faces of my die, so I can see what are the chances that I can get a good outcome. And the chances to get a good outcome here are actually pretty good. I'd like to get one of these enhanced, and I'd like to get away from these 3 corruptions. So we're going to re-roll, see if we can. Well, you know, they can't all be winners, right? So here is what I'm going to do. I know that he's dealing 2 to me, and he's dealing 2 to himself, but he's not actually going to over-corrupt himself yet. So instead, what I think I'd like to do is I'm going to just use this purification here to heal myself. And then I'll use the corruption on myself. Again, if I use the corruption on him, it's going to heal him, and it'll also fill his corruption meter. And even though taking 3 damage and taking 3 damage is kind of the same sort of thing, I want to keep him at a lower life total. So I'll just take this 3 directly. It'll also allow me to draw 1 more die. Let's get a good die out of this. Nice. Perfect. Okay, so right now I'm in a pretty dangerous place. I only have 1 health bar remaining. If this 2 damage hits me, I'm out. But obviously, I have some powerful tools. I still have some dice left in my belt. So let me use those. The first thing I want to do is I actually want to apply these light shield. You can see this top part is light shield. Light shield prevents corruption, and by putting light shield on my opponent, he's actually not going to be able to corrupt himself, which is pretty useful. And then the final thing I want to do this turn is actually want to use my enhance die. Enhance is a special ability that only Mooney has access to that allows her to take a purify 1 and make that purify 6. So when I do, I'm now healed to full. Now when I end the turn, you see he's still going to hit me for 1 damage, but my light shield prevented the 2 corruption that he was about to take, which I'm pretty happy about because that would have been pretty bad news for me. The first thing we're going to do is just grab him here. Can I win on this turn? I think the answer is no, but that's okay. I will just heal myself to full, drop 1 more. He's going to heal for 2 on this turn, hit me for 2, but I think I'm pretty solid getting him down for next turn. Perfect. You can actually see that I got this is an area purify, so it's going to deal 1 purification to all targets. Well, if I enhance that, I'm going to deal 6 purification to all targets, healing me to full and defeating my enemy. Look at that. So at the end of every battle, I'm going to get 50 star shards. This is like a currency, right? This is what we're going to be able to use to sort of power ourselves up. And then I'm also going to be able to choose from a set of dice. Interesting. Ingenious Touch. I actually do sort of like Ingenious Touch. I have some safe die synergy, so we'll pick this up. And then Calm. Deal 2 purification yourselves for each die in your hand. End your turn without discarding any dice from your hand. That's also pretty interesting. I think I'll just take both, to be honest with you. I'm really looking to just take very safe dice, the best safe dice I possibly can, in order to kind of reach the end game in a strong, solid way. We'll take the other Calm. And then, research. We'll take 1 research here. Research is going to improve the power. Research is going to improve the power of our enhancement dice. Okay, so you can see, this is our new enemy. Now, he has an ability called Boost, which allows him to draw 2 dice per turn, and these 2 dice are actually going to have different faces. So right now he rolled the 2 to themselves, so he's gonna heal himself for 2, and then he's gonna deal 2 to me. The good news is I have a convert action, so I can just convert this right off the bat. I am gonna hit him here. I want to get that research back in the dice pool with my star chart. So the research is going to scale up over time because when I get to those enhancement dice, I'd like them to be working pretty hard for me. So you can see this battle, I'm going to have to pay a lot of attention to his overcorruption meter. I really, really want to avoid getting overcorrupted. This is perfect, right? So you can see research. We're going to research ourselves for 2. We're going to drop that research back in there. And then we're going to enhance our die to 9, which I'm pretty happy about. Unfortunately, he's going to deal 1 by dealing 1 corruption to both targets, and then he's going to deal 2 to himself. So he's actually going to hit me for only 1 this turn, but he's going to heal himself for 3. So I just want to make sure I get as much damage onto him as I possibly can. Okay. Now, he's been rolling a lot of things that deal corruption to him, so I really ought to expect, yep, this turn, see? So he's at 4 out of 6. He's going to heal himself for 2. Now, I do have the opportunity, interestingly enough, to prevent him from doing that, and I think I'm going to take that opportunity. I want to forcibly re-roll his 2 dice to make it so that he is, yep, he is attacking me instead of healing himself. Very happy to deal with that. Let's convert this to Purify 3. I'm going to hit for 1. Hit. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I'll heal myself for 3. And then hit for 1, 1, 1. I'm going to take 4 on this turn, but I have plenty of health. And it's going to activate some of my most powerful virtues. So we're going to see if we can take him out without actually activating. Let's see if we can take him out without actually activating his overcorruption this turn. I am going to hit him for 4. Oh, and this is an enhancement die. Interesting. Let's re-roll this. See if we can get something a little bit better. Well, they can't all be winners. That's what I always say. You know, unfortunately, I think we're just going to have to kind of heal. I'm going to heal myself for 3, so he's going to take 2, deal 2 to me, and then deal 1 more to me. We'll put the research in. I'm going to hit him for 1, and then I have no use, unfortunately, for this, so we're just going to have to discard that at the end of the turn, but that's okay. He's going to hit me for 1. He's going to heal himself for 2, so he's going to overcorrupt and deal 2 to me. The good news is I have plenty of space left to finish my good friend off, and we're going to do that with a pretty powerful, you can see 5 research has increased the value of that enhancement die to 11, which is going to let us take him down in 1 shot. Pretty happy about that. All right, let's collect some rewards. Moonlight, interesting. Okay, so Moonlight. Moonlight triggers whenever I play what's called a hex die. Some abilities are going to put negative dice in my dice pool, and when they do, and when I play them, I can use this Moonlight. Unfortunately, I'm not really looking to do that. I think the most powerful thing that we're doing right now, I will take this one, just blanket Purify. Sounds good to me. The most powerful thing that we're looking to do right now is research and enhance. So I haven't talked a lot about the map, so let me just address the map really quickly. Astrea follows a map, and so we're going to be hitting these different nodes. This node just gains us 50 star shards. This node is a random event or an ambush. I think I want to take, I'm feeling lucky. Okay. Oh, I get to destroy a die out of my inventory. I'm actually pretty happy about this. Destroying dice is actually really good for you because it allows you to shore up your dice pool by getting rid of some of the weakest dice that you have. For me, this is going to be this reroll dice. This reroll die. I'm really not looking to reroll all that often because all of my dice are safe so far. So yeah, we're going to do that. Now I'm headed off to a shop. You can see I have 210 star shards. I want to spend some of those star shards on a sentinel. Sentinels are little robotic buddies that help you out in the middle of a fight. Unfortunately, I'm not really looking for either reroll or conversion. I already have a convert, but it's just rare for me to roll corruption, so we're going to shuffle. Let's see if we can get a better set of dice. This is pretty interesting. Okay. So the Guardian, he is going to deal 2 purification at the top of the turn. That doesn't matter all that much, but he's going to give me access to light shields pretty conveniently, which I do like quite a bit. But the Colossus Hand is actually really interesting. The Colossus Hand has an ability called Disoriented, which means that its actions are going to be randomized every turn, right? So the Purify and Corrupt actions have their dice randomized between 1 and 6, which means I could roll, if, I roll pretty poorly, I could roll 6 Corruption, which would be pretty catastrophic. But I could also roll some really powerful on this side. I'm willing to take the bet. Let's take the Colossus Hand into our next fight. And you can see here, I actually have the choice between 2 different battles. A normal battle, which will work just, as it has for the last couple of rounds, and a hard battle, which is a tougher challenge, which is going to yield Star Shards, a chest, and of course, a Star Blessing. I'm willing to take the tougher challenge. Let's see how far we can go. Interesting. I have the research, and there's a part of me that wants to just research on turn 1, but I actually think the right thing for me to do might just be to start enhancing. I think I just want that enhanced die to be the first one I use every turn. Go right back into the draw pool. I rolled pretty well on my Colossus Hand. You can see the randomized nature, so 1, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 1. We rolled the 4. I'm happy with that. And we're going to have to take out one of these. Unfortunately, wow, this is really tough. They have rolled their hardest, kind of their toughest faces. So let's see what we can do. We're going to put as much damage as we possibly can onto them. They're both going to heal for 3. You can also see they have really dangerous overcorrupts, right? So an overcorrupt of 6 is a really dangerous proposition for me. Interesting. Okay. I am going to keep this because I think it's pretty good. We're going to take 5 on our turn, but I'm not so worried about that. What I am a little worried about is this one, which okay. I'm in a pretty interesting position, sort of defensively, because I can get 8 damage out in this turn. Is that enough? This is 7. I could do 4 and then 4 again by pinging myself for 1, and then I heal. I think this is enough to heal me up. I'm going to go for this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to convert. We're going to convert this to an Area Purify 2. I just really want to make sure that it's not not going to be hurting me. I'm then going to use my Virtue to hit for 4. My my New Moon Ray die to hit for 7. Send that back into the inventory. I am then going to heal myself for 1 and then damage myself for 1. Just going to activate this 4 again. We're going to hit. And now when I do this, I'm going to take 3 and then I'm going to take 2, but I'm actually not going to die. I think what I'd like to do is just set this guy up to just fall over next turn. So we'll take 5. 2 more. Okay. Let's roll that enhance. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to draw a die with my Virtue. Come on, give me something good. That is great. This means I can enhance this, and we're going to do an area of effect attack. It's going to hit both of them. The not great news. This is actually okay. We're going to hit for 4 here. And I am going to use my reroll, I think. What I'd like to do rerolling... Yeah. What I'd like to do re-rolling this is perfect. This is amazing. This is going to hit for 14 damage, which is a ton. In fact, it's so much damage that it's what I want to use first. We're going to hit here. It's going to drop back into our dice pool. Unfortunately, this kind of leaves this die a little stranded, but I'm actually going to be kind of okay with that. We're going to hit for 7, take out our flower on the left. You can actually see that we don't, when we purify targets, we don't actually destroy them. The interesting thing about purification is that it actually removes the corruption from our enemies and it cleanses them. All right. Oof, a pretty brutal set of affairs, but thankfully I have set myself up for victory. One of the things I do want to show is that if I do actually have a tough, like let's say I have this corruption 6, this would lose me a heart, this would heal him for a ton, over corrupt him, he'd hit me for 6 anyway, just like catastrophic. I can actually use this on my sentinels. So one of the nice things is that I can use sentinels in order to prevent myself from losing matches. And you can see that that does include killing them off. But we're not going to have to worry about that because I have the victory wrapped up. All right, we have about 10 minutes left in stream, and I want to see if we can get to the boss. Get a win on the boss. Eclipse Gaze. Interesting. Apply 1 Serenity to any target. Serenity increases the amount of purification that target takes. And then add 2 paralyzed hex dice to my dice pool. I'm really not looking to add negative dice to my dice pool, so I'm going to skip that. But New Moon Ray, this is perfect. This is the one that we've really loved, and I want to pull it in right now. New Moon Ray is going to allow us to go pretty hard. Okay, at the end of draw phase, you can re-roll all dice from your hand. I'm not super interested in that. Whenever a hex die is enhanced, the enhanced final value is multiplied by 3. This is pretty good, but I'm not running any hex dice. And whenever an enemy gets over-corrupted, refresh your virtues. This is pretty good all around. Over-corruption happens from time to time. Lots of enemies will corrupt themselves pretty naturally. So it feels good to be able to run into a final battle without too much issue. I am going to come up and take these star shards because what I would like to do is get another sentinel at the sentinel shop so I can have 2 going into the final fight. Okay, this is perfect, actually. I really love Solar Plexus here. Solar Plexus deals a lot of area purification, but because enhancement is a pretty key part of my build, enhancing the Solar Plexus dice is going to be really, really powerful. Let's see if we can get that done. Finally, right before we enter a boss fight, we're going to have the ability to pray at a shrine. I can sacrifice a heart to gain a star blessing. I can gain 100 star shards, and if I've lost any hearts, usually I have three hearts. If my corruption meter is completely destroyed, I'm going to lose a heart. I think I am actually going to sacrifice a heart, gain a star blessing. Gaining a star blessing is just a really powerful ability, and if I can defeat the boss, I'm actually going to make sure that star blessing carries with me forward into the rest of the run. Let's just take a look at these. Every 10 dice re-rolled, draw an epic die. This is actually a pretty strong star blessing, but I don't have any epic dice, so it's not really useful to me right now. Whenever you or a sentinel receives purification that exceeds their corruption meter, a random enemy receives X purification, where X is the purification exceeded divided by 2. So what this basically means is, let's say I purify myself for 10, and that 10 exceeds my corruption meter. That 10 is going to be divided by 5, and it's actually going to hit my opponent. It's pretty strong. Finally, whenever you receive corruption during your turn, a random enemy receives purification for each corruption received by you. Okay. And whenever a sentinel receives corruption during my turn, a random enemy receives 2 purification for each corruption received by that sentinel. That's pretty interesting. That's actually pretty interesting. I do want to take a quick look. The Divine Prism has some really, really interesting connotations. But I think maybe what I actually want to do is go down to the Astrarium Soul. I'm not dealing a lot of corruption to myself on my turns, typically. I am mostly creating really powerful, really powerful options for purification. And because of that, I think I want to avoid, taking something that's going to deal with corruption. All right, let me take a look at this. Unfortunately, we did not roll well on this. I really would have liked to have rolled differently. Let's take a different approach. I'm going to re-roll these 2 dice. What we're trying to do here is get to the New Moon Ray. Being able to deal 8 purification off of a safe die is just really powerful. But, you know, sometimes the luck is not with you. Fair enough. I am going to heal myself for 1 off of the Astrea Soul like that. And then, of course, we're just going to hit. Now you can see Vengeful Stab is ticking down. If you'd like to know what Vengeful Stab is, you see down here, activate this enemy's dice every 6 times you deal purification to it. So basically, whenever I forcibly deal purification to a target, interesting. Whenever I deal purification to a target, that target is going to tick down, and he's going to use his die. I think I want to get rid of. Right now, he's rolling one of his worst die faces. Let's just get that out of the way. See if we can find something a little bit better to deal with. Yeah, that's pretty great. I do have an enhancement. Do I want to keep the enhancement here, or do I want to do? I think I just want to gain some research. So yeah. And you know, he is going to hit me for 3. I do have to be aware of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 1 here. Hit 4 here. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually want to heal myself to full first. We're going to hit 4 here. We're going to take 3. You can see Vengeful Stab is going off. His dice activates, and he puts a status effect on us. That status effect can say minimize. So my next purification is going to be decreased to 1. Now, interestingly, I want to enhance this die. So this is now a 7. If I were to use this 7 right now, it would only be a 1 because of minimize. But that's why I wanted to heal myself first. It's going to activate this virtue. We can use this virtue here. That's going to get rid of my minimize debuff, and then I can now hit my target for 7. Pretty powerful. I'm going to hit 1 more time here. Unfortunately, we're not going to end up using that die, but that's okay. And then I'm going to pass the turn. Take 3. Okay. I'm now in a pretty interesting position. He's got 4, so I have plenty of time, but I am going to draw, and I am minimized. I do think I want to keep my... Let's keep my research train going. We're going to... And we're already going to minimize for the 1, so this works out pretty perfectly. I will hit myself with it. I can now make sure that some of these are going to do more. I think I actually really would like to... Well... Let's do this. We'll re-roll this way. I'm going to just see if I can get an area on area effect die. Well, fortunately, the luck was not with me on that one. I will hit for 4. And then I'm going to also want to purify myself. But I'm getting pretty close to activating. You know, let's take this turn to sort of shore up our bases here. You know, I'm taking the 4, but I'm actually okay with that. You can see my Sentinels are not triggering Vengeful Stab because I am not actually dealing the purification. Sentinel's dealing the purification. We're going to take the 4. This is okay. It's going to unlock all of our virtues, which I'm pretty happy about. All right. We have Research 2, but I think I want to keep that train going. So I'm going to enhance my solar plexus. This is now area purify 8. Really strong option. I am going to draw. We're going to see if we can draw that enhancement die again. Yes, perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I'm going to use research. First, let's heal myself. Yeah. You can see that my Astrea Soul is going to activate on this, by the way. He took some damage because I overhealed myself, which is pretty powerful. We're going to hit for 4. I'm going to enhance this die. We're going to hit for 8. Then we're going to hit for 3. This is going to activate his Vengeful Stab. Oh, it's not, actually, because I'm going to win the game. Wow, right on time. So, I'm going to be able to take the boss out with a final one damage die. Pretty happy with this. And you can see that I have now beaten the boss. Now, the boss actually has quite a lot of rewards. 150 star shards. I'm going to get a new sentinel. I'm going to get an epic die. I'm going to get what's called a black hole blessing. Black hole blessings are more powerful than star blessings. However, they have a drawback. And then I'm also going to recover all my hearts. So just collect all this. My new sentinel. I think I want to take the Adapted Courier. The Adapted Courier has the ability Void Seek, allows me to find specific dice. That's really useful, and we're going to get rid of our Colossus hand. I think you can see that Solar Plexus with my enhanced die are pretty powerful. Interesting, interesting. Now, what I have here are all of the different epic dice that I can take. Epic dice are like safe dice, except they are their most powerful version. There's no bad face, and they are pretty powerful for the rest of the run. Okay, so Eureka, convert up to do dice from my hand for the rest of the run. You know, I'm not really doing a lot of conversion. Deal 2 purification to an enemy, deals 5 additional purification for each doom you have. I do not have much doom. And then Moonlight. You know, I'll take the Moonlight. I'm not looking to add hex dice to my, I'm not looking to add hex dice to my dice pool, but Moonlight is pretty all-purpose, you know, valuable die to have. And then you can see these are the black hole blessings. So, for instance, I'm going to draw 1 additional die per turn, but at the start of each battle, I'm going to gain 2 Doom. Doom is going to increase the amount of corruption on my dice. So, corruption effect 1 would become corruption effect 3. You know, this is actually pretty good. I think it's what we're going to take, but you can see that there are some other ones. Just to give a look at Decimator Skull, it increases purification received by enemies by 1, but also increases the corruption they receive, which means that their overcorrupt can get a little out of control. We're going to take the Forbidden Atlas, though. Drawing an additional die per turn is pretty powerful, and you can see that I'm about to head off to the next map. There are 3 total maps before you end up in the boss map for Astrea, but I'm going to call it here. If you have any questions or concerns about the game's overarching design, you can feel free to join our Discord at discord.gg/AkuparaGames, or, you know, get in touch with us on Twitter. Both Astrea and Akupara Games are on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope I did not talk too fast. I'm sure that I absolutely did. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.